Yes. Welcome to the Coaching Book Club podcast, the show that empowers coaches through books. I'm Christy Stuber, here with my friend and co-host Ken McKellar. And today we're diving into 7.5 Lessons About the Brain by Lisa Feldman Barrett, a fascinating book that explores how our brains shape our behaviors, emotions, and interactions in ways that can have a huge impact on coaching. So here's what you can expect in this episode. First, we'll share what stood out to each of us about this book and why it's relevant for coaches. Next, we'll break down 3 key insights that really made us think differently about our coaching practice. And finally, we'll talk about how we've been applying these ideas with clients and how you might give it a go as well. Whether you've read this book before or are hearing about it for the first time, you'll leave with actionable tools to strengthen your coaching skills. Let's get started. Hi, Ken.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. So, 7.5 Lessons About the Brain. What was important about this book for you?
Well, first off, this is one of those books that it made you think of my youth in terms of on the block, anytime somebody says something outrageous or going in an outrageous direction, go, whoa, 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 whoa. You know, you're like, hey man, you have shoes and your mama, whoa, 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 whoa. Don't go there. You don't want to go there, right? This book had me doing that a bunch of times. And it's like, whoa, whoa, Lisa, what are you talking about? So this is some really pure opportunity to think about some stuff. I mean, she leads with your brain's not for thinking. And I'm like, whoa, whoa. But what she backs up with in terms of, the brain regulating the body and the brain regulate, just for survival, that right there was the biggest takeaway. It's just that outlook. And lesson 4. Lesson 4 was big for me, which we'll get to in a second.
Yeah. I love talking about neuroscience. I love talking about brains. For me, it's just been so helpful to understand what's happening in my brain to explain why I'm showing up or doing the things that I do. That knowing that there's something behind it, which is about survival, as you mentioned, makes me understand why it's happening and not think that I'm crazy or I'm bad or I'm wrong. I also joke that Lisa Feldman Barrett is my second favorite neuroscientist, my first one being my partner. Reading these books are really fun for us, so I can talk to him about what I'm reading and he can share his perspective on it. So it's also a fun way for me to connect with him in a way we might not normally be able to combine, our roles. So,
Nice.
yeah. What do you think about diving into those takeaways a little bit more?
Well, one other thing I wanted to say, how do you say it? Allostasis?
Allostasis.
Allostasis. Yeah, allostasis. Allostasis is bad breath, right?
I won't tell anyone.
Allostasis, right? Predicting and preparing to meet the body's needs before they arise. Like just that concept right there had me like thinking a lot as far as how we navigate the world.
Mm-hmm. That was a big takeaway for me as well. That energy budget that she describes. First of all, I love that she uses a metaphor. The budget made me think about when we talked about Lisa DeHart's book about metaphors and how useful they can be to take this big, complicated topic and make it more concrete. Hard to understand allostasis, but when you say budget, I understand, there's debits and withdrawals. And so what am I doing every day that's helping me build up my energy budget? And what am I doing that's, drawing it down? And I think about this, especially when I'm preparing for coaching. What do I need to be doing? Competency 2 embodies a coaching mindset, right? 2.7, mentally and emotionally preparing for sessions. What am I doing to build that budget so that I am fully present for my clients? What are the kind of things that you do in your practice to help you have a balanced body budget, especially as you're coaching?
I give myself 5 minutes before sessions, at least to kind of do a couple things. Number one, kind of go over what I'm getting ready to get into, whether it's past notes, whether it's upcoming new client, and then give myself that time just to woosah the moment, just kind of just relax and just right, and then just think about positive thoughts, positive sessions, positive interactions, positive free flowing. Just let it be, let it happen, let it happen, and give myself permission to let it happen. I'm not trying to guide it. I'm not trying to move it along. Just kind of let it happen. And when I do that, I'm pretty happy with whatever results, because the results don't belong to me.
Yeah. As I was reading the book, I was thinking about a new client that I met with recently. Somebody I find a little bit intimidating because of the role that they have in their organization. And I set aside a lot of time that morning to, eat a really good breakfast, to move my body in some way, to do what you said, like take some deep breaths and kind of get myself centered before I walked in the room. I also have a self-compassion playlist that I curated, and I love listening to that, because it helps me, like, remember everything's okay, all the positive things you just said, right? The world is full of kindness, everything's gonna be okay, I have everything I need to be able to do this, and that really helped that conversation go successfully. I didn't fall into that trap, which maybe leads to another takeaway about predictions. We can get there, of being intimidated. Instead, I could just be who I am as a coach.
Um, Pause. I want that playlist. No, 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 not pause for real. I mean, pause. I want just note that I want that playlist, please. Subscribe. Is anybody that would like? Let us know. We got a nice little playlist.
Hey, listeners, check out our LinkedIn. I'll have it available for you there.
that, that, that is awesome. What do you think about? She had a quote here that I thought was interesting. I couldn't wait to talk to you today to see what you thought about this. She says the brain's most important job is not rationality, not emotions, not imaginations, or creativity, or empathy. The brain's most important job is to control your body's energy needs before they arrive.
Mhm. It's a lot of thinking and thoughts going through my head as we're saying that. Like, it's kind of a miracle to think, like, how does my brain know what I'm going to need before I even need it? And I do think this goes to predictions. Does that
Yes,
win for you?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That was
Yeah,
my
I
other.
mean,
Yeah. Go ahead.
no, I was getting ready to say, I think we're on the same page with that. But that chapter in the book, lesson number 4, your brain predicts almost everything you do. And I was like, whoa, whoa.
Mhm.
It was that point for me, right? And this challenges the traditional view um, that you know we react. But what it is, what she's talking about, it kind of predict and sets things up to get ready for it to happen. One analogy that she used helped me. She said, like drinking water. She says, you drink a glass of water and your thirst is quenched. But in
Mhm.
reality, your blood doesn't hit the water doesn't hit your bloodstream for another 20 minutes. So it's not really quenched. It's what you think is being quenched, and everything else is responding to what's not really there.
Right. Right. It's wild, right? It's like, it doesn't feel real in many ways. That, like, what is this reality we live in? It's our brain making up all kinds of stuff, which I find
Yeah.
is a helpful reminder as a coach, because like this client I had that I found is intimidating, right? My brain was making up all kinds of stuff that was
Yes.
gonna happen
Yes.
based on all of my past experiences, all the ways I've been exposed to things as a Western, civilization in the US as a white woman, all the things. I'm going to have a different prediction of what that means going to be like than maybe you will, or maybe somebody else in a different part of the world. And so being aware of, like, what was my brain predicting? And then how do I update that prediction based on what happened? I love that quote that she says, when the prediction doesn't match reality, your brain can either adjust or stick with its prediction. And adjusting is learning.
Yes. Yes. And as you were saying that just right then, I was thinking how do we update, our biases, like in a coaching session, when going into a coaching session? I mean, really just learning from that individual that's in front of us right there, that moment, and hearing and accepting who they are. We always talk about meet them where they are. I like to add and accept who they are in the process.
So how do you do that? Kind of like, how do you allow yourself to accept who they are in the process when you are human? And so you will have your own predictions.
Yeah. What I have this imaginary shelf that I have on either side of me when I'm in a coaching session. And when something hits that doesn't align or doesn't fit with me as a person, I put that on the shelf because my goal is to, like Dr. Boris always says, she teaches at Diversity Institute, steady water, steady water. And that right there, I said, "Ooh, let me get back in the steady," because it's kind of wavy now. Let's put this thinking on the shelf, steady water, and let me be a part of what I'm here for, right? To support the client that's in front of me, wherever they are.
Yeah. So for you, it's like when you're in the session, it's about not letting your brain predictions based on who you are as a human, not right or wrong, not good or bad, get in the way of the engagement by putting it on the shelf, letting those.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm,
But it's not about not letting; it's about letting it
mhm,
happen, letting it
mhm,
happen. When that does happen, it's just easy. Just slide on over there,
mhm.
slide over there. Because I don't know, but if you're telling me you don't have own intrusive thoughts come in during a session, I'm not going to really say you're a liar, but that'd be hard for me to believe. But if I'm spending time trying to prevent stuff from happening, that's a lot of energy. But if I just, okay, that's there, move on over there. I'll see you in about 35, 40 minutes. You move right on over there and try to get back into with the person that's in front of me.
Yeah. I think that's what she's saying, right? We, of course, we all have intrusive thoughts because it's our brain doing its job to try to protect us, to keep us alive by making predictions. So if I'm doing a video call with a client and they, look aside, I'm going to have a react. My brain's going to have a reaction to that. It's going to have a story it's associating with that, a meaning it's going to try to make out of it. And what you're saying is like, oh, there it is. Okay, just move it aside. Come back to that later. Stay connected to the client.
Mm.
Um, that makes me think about the other takeaway that I had, which was how our brains regulate each other. Well, he just made a face. What was that? That big.
No, 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 that did hit with me too. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say. Whoa, this was good. This was good.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just having the awareness that what I do can impact my client, meaning all my nonverbals, all the way I'm showing up. And so I need to be aware of it, um, so that I can stay calm and centered and create that space so that the client feels safe. So this is competency 4, cultivating trust and safety, competency 5, maintaining presence. Underneath that is the importance of if I have a look on my face or if I look aside or something happens, my client's going to interpret that based on their worldview, on their predictions that they have. And how might that impact then the coaching space between us? How do you think about it?
No, I like that. I like that. And that along with what's really there, what clients may be making up as a result of just being nervous or their own perception of what's going on, right? So a coach really has a lot to navigate, particularly in that first session and establishing what I call the high five of coaching, which we'll get into in another time.
Mhm.
But the five being connection, rapport, safety, trust, and respect. Another thing I was thinking about too was we connect with other people no matter what. I mean, if we're in a grocery store, we're connecting with people. The energy that's kind of feeds off on us. When we can hear somebody in 2 rows over yelling at somebody, and our bodies reacting. Oh, okay, what's going on here? right? And I'm taking it from Lisa's point of view. She's like, what's going on here? Do I need to get down? Do I need to run? Or do I need to go protect somebody? If we're taking it from the spot of, I just need you to be safe right now. And that's because really interesting when you look at working through life, not thinking, but just existing so that I can pass my genes to the next person.
Yeah. When I talk to clients about this, I say, our brains are exceptionally good at finding the prediction, right? The prediction for the threat or the perceived threat. Our brains are exceptionally bad at nuancing. And then that's our job to update those scripts, those predictions, so that we can start to nuance better.
My biggest takeaway
Mm-hmm.
from like a coach's perspective, it goes back to that pause. Like when I can find time to pause and think before I act or react, man, that's a powerful position to be in. Or afterwards, pause and reflect. You know, what was it? What was it that I was really trying to say? I say that with my kids all the time. They throw on a little fit. I go, oh, help me. What are you really trying to say? They pause for a second and they said, I want to go to urban air and you're taking us to the pool. Oh, okay.
Two things there I'm thinking about. One is that what you're doing with your kids is cultivated learning, right? You're asking them, you're evoking the awareness, right? What's going on right now? What's happening? And then let's cultivate some learning about updating that script, maybe finding a different way to ask for what you need, whatever you're trying to do as a parent. I'm also thinking about that pause, and I'm thinking about that pause. I just did it, right? That big pause, take that breath is part of our energy budget. It's part of that allostasis, right? We are doing it. We can do it all the time, all throughout the day. It doesn't have to be this big thing that we sit and do for hours, but noticing, oh, I need to take a deep breath right now to help my body stay in budget and my brain predicting. And I can just do that.
Yeah. Listen, subscribers, talk to me. Read the book. Tell me what you think. Did this book leave you saying, whoa, wait a minute now, Lisa? That's too far, right? Did the book leave you, hey, okay, there's a shift in my growth, in my thinking towards how I navigate, particularly coaching spaces?
So I'm curious for you specifically, Ken, what are you going to be applying to your coaching practice from this book?
It's just a little bit more of what I already do. And that's just really being a little bit more curious, asking that next question, and really understanding that, off this book, if we're just making it up based off of survival, right? What's going on in the session? What's really going on? So, yeah, as I think about it, it's going to be along those lines. I don't really spend too much time trying to plan things out, but I think I'll spend some time really just appreciating in the sessions where we are and where this thing is going.
I think about how, in my eagerness sometimes to connect with clients, especially new clients, I'll want to make a prediction that I know what they're going to say so I can join with them on that and we can make a connection. And realizing that that's my brain doing its job and it gets in the way of me really knowing my client and their worldview. And so I need to really balance that eagerness of wanting to connect with curiosity so I can really understand my clients. And then I can show how I can connect with them in that way, right? About understanding their worldview rather than trying to or jump ahead to what I think they're going to say and agree with them on that. Any final words before we wrap up for today?
Read the book. That's always be my final words. Read the book. Tell me what you think.
Yeah. Well, that wraps up our discussion on 7.5 Lessons About the Brain by Lisa Feldman Barrett. We've covered some powerful insights, some good reminders from understanding how our brains predict, to managing our body budget, and being calm and cultivating trust through presence. I hope these ideas have sparked new thoughts for your coaching practice. And if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe to the Coaching Book Club on Spotify or Apple Podcasts so you never miss an episode. We'd also love to connect with you on LinkedIn for more coaching insights and to hear from you. And if you've got a book you'd love us to cover, let us know. You can send us an email at coachingbook. So thanks for joining us. And until next time, happy coaching.